This is Holly with Ivy Cole Creations, and we're doing another layout for the Alphabet Soup Challenge from Redefined Kreative. M is for messy, is the letter that we have today, and I am doing this 8.5 by 8.5 layout to go in my own personal little book, and it is about me and my cat. And I am just gessoing up a page here so that I have something that I can do wet media on and not destroy the paper. This is my cat. Her name is Harley Quinn because she's slightly psycho. And she loves being on top of me and in front of me when I'm crafting. So I call them cat hugs, and it's where she just basically uses me as a perch to watch me craft. So I have all of these scraps from the last project that I worked on, and I figured I would throw them on a page because there isn't much to say about this layout other than she's my cat and she's not a very nice cat. She really dislikes people, and that's putting it mildly. So she likes me though. I'm the mama. And so I figured I would document the fact that she actually spent time with me and she was actually with me in my craft room. And I'm using up this beautiful brick paper that I love and only have one sheet of. I have no idea where it's from. I'm pretty sure it's just a paper pad from Recollections and this leftover stripe stuff and the house paper from my last project. I end up using Distress Oxides to make the messy part of my background. I have Tattered Rose, Vintage Photo, Seedless Preserves, and Antique Linen. My camera really does not like focusing on things. That's the one drawback that I've had with it so far. But I got my paper wet, I got my media wet, and I'm just trying to lay it down. I try to use it as watercolor most of the time because any other time it doesn't really work any other way, really, at least that I've found. It works for stamping, but I really like it for the watercolor look that I get when I am doing mixed media backgrounds. It's one of my favorite things, really, about the Distress Oxides is the layering that you can do with it. So I pull here, I'm using the Tattered Rose, as you can see, but I pulled out Candied Apple so that I could mix it with my Vintage Photo to get this rust brown color, which was a rather large stripe in the diagonal striped pattern paper there, and I thought that would be a great base as a background color. And I believe that there's now a rusted nail or rusted hinge color, but I figured these are the only ones I have, so I will create my rust color. I really do love these oxides. They have such brilliant, vibrant colors. A lot of people say they're chalky. Yes, they're chalkier than inks, the Distress inks, but I have never been disappointed with the vibrancy of the color that ends up on the layout. Here I'm using Seedless Preserves to try to make 3 clustered areas because I want to create clusters, and I thought it was a little too pink, so I decided to try again, a little bit less water, and kind of swirl it around on the page and see what happens. There's a lot of tilting, there's a lot of dabbing, there's a lot of drying, and Seedless Preserves actually dries almost purple. It's not really a pink when it is dried up, but I do love the different intensities you can get with the oxides just by doing layers and letting the colors blend in and around each other, and then having the pooling as different lines and different depths of color in the lines. Put together some tags so that I can have a bit more of a cohesive background behind my photos. I really want them to pop off this page and make it look like they belong there. I'm trying to line up these things and it's not really working, so I switched over to my Fickers, and I have these really old, they're a baby collection, Fickers, and you can see it says Bundle of Joy, Hugs and Kisses is what it used to say, but I took enough letters to create Cat Hugs is what my title is going to be. So I thought that fit in there perfectly, and it was a great way to use the Fickers up. I'm still playing around with it, trying to figure out what I want, but I know what my title is going to be, so I start to figure out placement and really put things down. I have these beautiful black and white floral tags that I have no idea where they're from, and I decide to use them as backgrounds for my photos, just to give me a little bit more something, because the pictures looked rather flat being just by themselves. And I have this raffia type material where it's kind of like really stiff paper, cardboard, but it's a string, and if you get it a little bit wet, it will separate and you can actually unroll it. So I'm just looping up my first tag here, and then you'll see me start working on the raffia, because it's so tight it feels almost like there's wire in there, but there's no wire. So I'm trying to split it apart, and finally I land on the idea of adding water, and that definitely loosens it up a lot easier and lets me untwist it. It gives it a nice large bit, and I just figured I would cut the pieces apart a little bit to give it more of a string-like appearance. I use unfun foam, as many people call it, because it's only adhesive on one side, to lift up that one photo on the bottom, and I finally glue down the top photo. I really like how this one came together. It was super quick for me and easy. It didn't take too long to throw it all together, especially because I already knew what I wanted on it. I start finishing my title and gluing it down. It will be Cat Hugs. I just think it's so adorable, because that is what she used to do. She used me as a climbing post half the time. I decided to switch out the darker thread on the journaling tag with the lighter thread on the pink tag on the bottom photo, and I think that fits a little bit better. It's definitely a lot more contrasting. These numbers from I don't know where. I believe they were from a kit club, a hip kit, and I was going to make 2019, but it kind of got lost, so I just went with 19 because that was the year that I took these photos. And I like having it just down in the corner. I need to date all of my own things that go in my own album with the year, because that album is not by year. That album is just all the random challenges that I put together for myself, or scrap of myself. I decided to put this little tag on that says Best Friends, and I bannered the end of it just to give it a little bit of something. Stuck it up in the corner there just to use it up, really. And I used all of these little tiny hearts that I had created in a previous layout that were die cut, and I just used them like sequins and just scattered them and splattered them all over the place. I really love the way that they make everything shiny and shimmery. And every time I say those words, I think of Sandy, State Goddess, here on YouTube. The scattering and the splattering, that's Laura Alberts, also here on YouTube. I just love the way these ladies describe their products. It makes me so happy. I finally have these little tiny gems. They're like enamel dots, but they're shiny and gold, and they come in 3 sizes, and I got them at the dollar store. So, of course I bought, a million packets of them. But they're the perfect gold, and they go with everything, and they're sticky on the back. So I just am cutting them off of the page and sticking them down wherever they seem to fit. I really like the way that this layout turned out. It's messy for sure, to fall into the M category of messy, but it's also really cute and fun, and not something that I would really do for myself. And that's it for this video. The still shots and close-ups will be up next. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you so much for spending your time with me today.